5 more people have been diagnosed with Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, bringing the total to 35, which includes medical personnel. Police have arrested a man who spread a fabricated list of hospitals where MERS had supposedly spread, stirring up further panic amid the outbreak. And the OECD has found that Koreans rank lowest among member countries when it comes to having someone to rely on in times of need.
Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Thursday, June 4th. I'm Luke Clary. More people were diagnosed with the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome overnight, and with the addition of 5 new patients, the total number of confirmed MERS cases comes to 35. Public health authorities are alarmed as medical personnel were found to have been infected as well.
5 more people were diagnosed with MERS overnight, bringing the total of MERS-confirmed cases in Korea to 35. It's been confirmed the list of 5 new patients includes a doctor from the General Hospital in Seoul, where a MERS patient was once admitted. The 30-something doctor had worked at a hospital where a MERS-confirmed patient was staying before being transferred to a state-designated hospital for isolation. The doctor is a tertiary infection case that had no direct contact with the patient 0. However, 3 other patients were apparently infected by the first patient between May 15th and 17th. They are a medical staff member, the patient's family member, and a person who had visited the patient. The remaining patient is a man in his 60s who shared the hospital room with a patient who had a secondary infection. 2 weeks have passed since the first MERS patient was reported. Now some 90 people are undergoing tests to find out whether they have contracted the disease, and about 1,300 people are isolated and placed under observation. Moreover, health authorities' inadequate disease control measures are causing concerns to mount, as MERS-confirmed patients have reportedly passed through 14 medical institutions so far.
President Park Geun-hye has ordered transparent disclosure of information to dispel public concerns over the MERS outbreak. Representatives of the rival political parties have urged the government to do its utmost to stop the spread of the virus. Here's the story.
The Cheongwade held an emergency meeting to examine the outbreak of MERS and discuss how to prevent it from spreading. President Park Geun-hye stressed the need to transparently disclose accurate information to ease public concern.
현재의 상황 그리고 이 대처 방안에 대해서 적극적이고 분명하게 그 진단을 한 후에 그 내용을 국민들께 알려야 한다고 봅니다.
To facilitate an effective response, the Cheongwade decided to set up government anti-epidemic headquarters and a comprehensive emergency task force staffed by both government and civilian experts. It will also designate base hospitals in each region for systematic management of afflicted patients. Saenuri Party Chief Kim Moo-sung said that the outbreak of MERS could impose a greater impact on the South Korean economy than the sinking of the Seoul ferry, calling for focused efforts to contain the outbreak rather than arguing over who is responsible. New Politics Alliance for Democracy head Moon Jae-in said that the government has lost the public's trust by failing to contain the virus in its initial stages. He urged the presidential office to spearhead the fight against the outbreak.
Spreading rumors about MERS on social networking sites when you know that the information is false can land you in jail. And police have arrested a man who spread a fabricated list of hospitals where MERS had supposedly spread.
Police have made the first arrest for spreading a rumor about MERS on social networking sites. Gwangju Police Station in Gyeonggi Province arrested a 49-year-old man surnamed E for defamation and obstruction of business. E is accused of having texted his acquaintances at around 2:20 p.m. last Tuesday a list of 4 hospitals, including one in Gwangju, Gyeonggi Province, that he claimed was affected by MERS, and asking them to spread the false rumor. The arrest was made a day after a hospital mentioned in the message reported that it had suffered losses due to the rumor. The police have announced that the hospitals mentioned in the text message had nothing to do with MERS-confirmed patients. But the rumor has caused losses for the hospitals, which have seen sharp declines in numbers of outpatients and received floods of inquiries. The police believe that he was aware that the message was groundless from the beginning, judging from the fact that he had not notified his family about the list of hospitals.
South Korea has developed a new ballistic missile as part of its efforts to counter missile threats from North Korea. President Park Geun-hye was present as the military test-fired the new missile on Wednesday, the first time in 3 decades an incumbent president has observed a missile test-fire.
Gushing flames, a missile soars into the air and flies toward its target. With a range of over 500 kilometers, it is an upgraded version of the Hyunmoo-2 ballistic missile. When deployed in the field, the new missile will be able to reach all regions of North Korea, including the Musudan missile base. This missile is an upgraded model of the Cheolmae-2. It can correct its position in the air following its launch. It is a low-altitude interceptor missile known as a Korean version of the Patriot missile. The 2 new missiles are key assets for the Korea Air and Missile Defense System and the Kill Chain, which are aimed at countering North Korea's nuclear weapons and missiles. The test fire was conducted with President Park Geun-hye in attendance.
실질적인 억제 역량을 갖추고 있을 때 북한도 결국 도발보다는 대화의 장으로 나올 수밖에 없고 또 변화도 이끌어낼 수가 있을 것입니다.
This marks the first time in 3 decades that an incumbent president has visited the Anheung test site, where various missiles and weapons under development are tested.
The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development found that although Koreans place much importance on their social relationships, they rank the lowest among OECD countries when asked if they have someone to rely on in times of need.
A survey found that Koreans consider social connections important, but their interpersonal relationships are not as solid. In a survey by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, 72% of Korean respondents answered that they had someone to rely on in times of need. That's 16 percentage points lower than the OECD average and the lowest among OECD member nations. Among the 11 indices, Korea was included in the bottom 20% of the OECD in 5 categories, including social connections. The nation ranked lower than 30th of 36 OECD members in such indices as work-life balance, health, and environment. Korea ranked only 29th in subjective satisfaction with life, posting 5.8 out of 10 points. However, Korea was included in the upper tier in the safety category, and the nation's educational performance was one of the strongest among OECD countries. Australia topped the composite ranking of 11 categories, while Korea fell 2 notches from last year by finishing in 27th place.
A series of retaliatory driving cases have been reported, with police apprehending a driver in his 20s who threatened a city bus driver because the bus overtook him and blocked his way. Here's the story.
As a city bus switches to the 4th lane to unload passengers, a following imported car comes to a sudden stop. The imported car responds by passing the bus and swerving across lanes to obstruct its progress. The driver of the car was retaliating for the bus overtaking him and blocking his vision. A collision inevitably followed, injuring the bus driver and a passenger. The case was handled as a simple traffic accident at the time, but the 58-year-old bus driver, surnamed Park, vividly recalled the moment of the accident and reported it on a government website last month after seeing a promotional leaflet on harsh punishment against retaliatory driving. Based on the report, police launched an investigation and apprehended the 28-year-old driver, surnamed An, 5 months after the accident.
도로 위에서 보복 운전은 상대방 운전자에게 상당한 위협을 주고 특히 대중교통 같은 경우는 승객들이 많이 승차하고 있기 때문에 더 큰 그 피해를 초래할 수가 있거든요.
Police plan to book An without physical detention on charges of assault and violating the law on punishment.
During Japanese colonial rule, Korean entertainers called Gisaeng were skilled at various traditional cultural genres. Take a look at the enrapturing performances of the former Gisaeng from Gwangju.
During the Japanese colonial rule, Korean entertainers called Gisaeng learned how to sing, dance, and recite poems at special schools called Kwonbon. Park Hwa-sun, who turned 85 this year, entered one of such schools at the age of 14. The heart-wrenching voice of imprisoned Song Chun-hyang missing her lover Lee Mong-ryong tugs at the listener's heartstrings. When her voice reaches the climax, it's accompanied by the exciting beats of the drum.
어려운 공연을 보게 돼서 정말 기분도 좋고 여운이 많이 남는 것 같아서.
Master Lee Mae-bang, who's now 88, is an intangible cultural asset in the field of Buddhist dance and the Korean folk dance Salpuri. He joined the school for Gisaeng when he turned 7 to learn Korean traditional dance. Recently, he has been playing the traditional drum. Despite his advanced age, his performance looks as vibrant as ever.
이 역사에 책을 쓰든지 노트를 쓰든지 역사에 남기고 흐름을 쓰여야지.
The tradition of Gisaeng schools that taught traditional song and dance is still alive in North Jeolla Province.
A new movie about a massive earthquake will open in Korea this week, while actress Im Soo-jung has made a comeback in a crime melodrama after a 3-year break. Here's more from the world of culture.
The west coast of the U.S. is struck by a massive 9.0 magnitude earthquake. The quake is triggered by the 1,000-kilometer San Andreas Fault, which crosses the state of California. Some 1,300 special effects in the movie make the scenes of the earthquake look impressively realistic. Jiyeon, the main character of this movie, faces a serious dilemma. She receives a risky offer that could change her life, but she ends up in a critical situation following an unexpected incident. This crime melodrama is based on Catherine Arley's novel Woman of Straw, which is about a perfect crime.
어떨 땐 연약해 보이기도 하겠지만 또 어떨 때는 욕망을 충실히 드러내려고 하는 그런 여자의 모습?
Two middle-aged friends from the UK travel to Italy. They enjoy the country's natural scenery and sumptuous meals and hold serious yet exciting conversations about art and life that stimulate the audience's senses.
Abrasions are common injuries sustained during outdoor activities. Today, we'll find out how to treat abrasions so you won't be left with unsightly scars. Also, we'll show you how to use balsamic vinegar made from aged grape juice.
Abrasions, consisting of superficial damage to the skin, are a common injury you can get when you take a spill. When you get scrapes or abrasions, it's important to remember how to deal with it immediately afterward.
먼저 해야 될 거는 이물질 제거입니다. 깨끗한 생리식염수를 이용해서 세척을 하면 좋겠지만 그게 용이하지 않을 때는 흐르는 수돗물을 이용해서 상처 부분을 세척해 주시면 그것만으로 충분한 효과를 볼 수가 있습니다.
A fusidic acid hydrate ointment is the most often used antibiotic in treating abrasions. It prevents secondary infection and works as an antibacterial agent even when applied on scabs. Also, an ointment made with Centella titrated extract helps with skin regeneration by promoting collagen synthesis. For small scratches, putting on an ordinary bandage after applying one of the above ointments would be enough, but if the injury has any discharge or is severe enough to leave a scar, moisturized bandages would make a better option. Also, scabs that form before an injury is completely healed should be left alone since it will fall off by itself as epithelial cells are renewed. Balsamic vinegar made from top-quality grape juice is unlike ordinary vinegar in that it has a stronger acidic taste. In Italy, where balsamic vinegar originates, Italians have long used this type of vinegar as a health supplement.
무엇보다도 구연산 같은 유기산이 많이 들어있어서 우리 몸에 쌓여있는 피로물질인 젖산을 분해시키기 때문에 피로회복에 도움이 됩니다.
Balsamic vinegar is also used as a salad dressing or a dip for bread. Did you know that you can make a refreshing glass of mojito by mixing equal parts balsamic vinegar and sparkling water? Or combine 1 part balsamic vinegar with 3 parts milk to enjoy a latte that tastes like a yogurt-based drink. The tangy balsamic vinegar makes an exciting addition to your humdrum old meals, so get energized with balsamic vinegar on these scorching hot summer days.
And now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.